I have been around some of the top people in the world, Milettes, the Cardones, the Grovers. I observe, how do they handle stress? How do they communicate with their team? Observational learning, like me going down to Miami, seeing how Cardone runs this well-oiled machine with 50 people on the phones and thousands of leads coming in. So the person that sits over there and says, well, I'm just going to learn under this person on YouTube, we classify that as exposure. It opens the mind, but it's not going to change your life. Now, the other part of that is called psychological demand. When you pay attention. When you sacrifice, you pay attention. When you get on a plane, when you travel somewhere, when you're committed to something, right?
Yes.
That is you telling yourself, I'm serious. I'm taking myself serious.
Welcome to the Verses of Life, where military resilience meets professional clarity and faith overcomes chaos. Get battle-tested wisdom with biblical insight to triumph through growth. And now for your host, Doctor and Chaplain Veronica Seitz. Welcome to another episode of the Verses of Life. Here we present professionals that have the wisdom and the knowledge that is needed for all of life, because everyone needs a coach and everyone is one pivotal decision away from a radically different life. Today, my guest is none other than what I refer to as America's coach. Everyone needs a coach in their life, and Coach Michael Burt has championships behind him. He's worked with the bigs, a lot of them, Grant Cardone.
Yep.
And Ed Milet,
Yep.
Tim Story, just a lot of people that are influential in different spaces of life. I want you to welcome him not only as a coach, but a bestseller,
Yep.
and immensely influential on bringing people to a bigger table.
Yes.
This is something that you're working on. So,
Yeah.
Coach, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Glad.
it.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming to the Greatness Factory.
Well, this was a place to be.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we're in Nashville, Tennessee. The Greatness Factory is one of your brain children. It's one of a number of places that actually people can plug in. So why don't we start there? How can people grow with Coach?
Well, I always like to say there's four things I can partner with people on. Number one, I can coach and mentor people, which is what I've been doing for 34 years now, most of my life. First as a basketball coach, now as a kind of a high-performance business coach. I strategically partner with people, but I typically only do that if I have coached and mentored them, unless they bring some big opportunity, right, that I don't have access to. Third thing is they could invest with us, which is through various funds, Blue Marlin Capital, Pitch Equity. These are various funds that we have that do very specific things. Or the fourth, they could use the assets that we've created or purchased or built, and this being one of those assets. Greatness Factory, I always like to tell people it's probably a $10 million idea that I had, but there's been millions of dollars generated here through partnerships. So there's no telling how to, it's hard to quantify that. And then we have this beautiful lodge out in Christiana, Tennessee. It's about 35 minutes from here. It sits on 27 acres, and it's just, I love it. I love being out there. It's very cerebral. It's a perfect place to do deep work, so that's another asset that we have people can rent.
And then occasionally there's a beach home that you
beach
do
house in Florida, and I told my wife Natalie that we could have that house if we figured out a way to pay for it, and it was like we started doing retreats. So we do retreats down there. We also do person of interest many times down there, and sometimes I'll spin up like something like fly with me to Florida, spend 2 days, and I really enjoy that. Take a small group of people, rent an additional house. They stay in that house. I come over and coach. It's really fun for me. So you'll probably see me do that in the near future.
You know what's awesome working with Coach is you are a co-creator. You come up with these concepts, and as you're listening to this, I want you to think about no one gets anywhere without a dream. Without a vision, people perish. You get stuck in a rut. You can't do a lot. So connect to a creator. And when you came into my life, that's what I was like. I knew the rut that was way too real, way too painful, and there was an instant resonating. I was like, this is the coach. And, I'll be very transparent. Some people are like, well, he's very straightforward. I'm like, I need that. like, clearly you do not know me. I need this. I need somebody that's going to hold my feet to the fire. And we were talking just a little bit, I do believe that everyone needs a coach in life. Mentorship is something that is foundational to faith. I mean, you cannot get somewhere that another person hasn't been.
That's right.
I mean, close the gap. We're going to make mistakes, and I believe that failure is a catalyst to determination and then the outcome of success.
Yeah.
You can't get to success without failures,
Right.
but learn from people that have failed in ways that maybe you don't want to. Now, if you want that hard learning curve, I'm sorry, you're not our people. But our people are those that are really looking. One, I'll ask you to explain what the seat at the bigger table is. And two, it's that strategic partnership that you talk about.
Right.
Tactical connections are critical.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why I connected with you. So.
Well, I think what's the role of a coach in a person's life is to accelerate their path. Ultimately, in the business world, we go to coaches because they know something. They got a strategy. They've got a background. They've got a methodology, right? Yeah. And so I've been coaching, but I was infusing personal development into coaching athletics, which has made me really different in the athletic world. Then that transferred over to the business world, and I found out that people in the business world needed structure, they needed accountability, they needed focus, they needed prey drive. And then I kind of did that for a long time, and I started saying, okay, I'm evolving as a person. What's my next album? Like when artists write an album, then they have their first one, then they have their second one, then they have their third one, and I'm like, I'm looking for a seat at the big table, right? And what is that? And that came from a saying that Price Pritchett said in an interview. Why did he go into mergers and acquisitions? Because that was a seat at the big table. That was where the big boys and the big girls played.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I go, that's the next step of my life. And I'm going to show people how to do it. I'm not just going to tell them to do it. They're going to watch me do it, right? And that's one of the things I'm really proud of is, typically you see me doing things as I'm doing them, right? I'm teaching, like I'm raising capital, and I'm doing this, and I just started a private equity fund, and we're going to build another greatness factor, and whatever it comes up with, because I do have a lot of psychological flexibility, meaning I'm not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to move towards something. I'm not afraid to, at the end of the day, say, hey, I had a conversation with Veronica, and you know what? I'm going to open up a greatness factory in Dallas. Like, I'm not afraid to walk in and say that, where a lot of people get stuck in the planning phase and the thinking phase and all the reasons that it can't. And that's why I'm so fascinated by quantum leaps. It's like I told Price Pritchett at our last session in Dallas, like, I'm your long lost son. You know what I mean? It's because like, I know, like I resonate with this.
Yeah.
And that's just where I am in my life at this point. It's like the coaching is activating the person, and we all need to be reactivated. Yes. There's days I need to be reactivated. I brought in a person to speak to my team today who's built a $100 million company, and there were things he said that hit me as the owner, hit my team members, like boom, thunderbolt. We needed that thunderbolt. It's like that woke us up, okay? Then I want to activate the business, and I spent my first 4 years going into businesses and help them be profitable.
You've been
mainly drive revenue,
yeah.
right? It's like, how do you, then I said, what's a third dimension to this equation? And I was so enamored with Covey when I was young, and Covey wrote The Eighth Habit, and he called that the third dimension to the first 7 habits. And I thought, okay, I'm going to say it that way. The wealth part of what I'm teaching, investments, seat at a bigger table, 8-figure skills stuck in 6-figure vehicles, that is the third dimension to the first 2 dimensions of my coaching.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, because life is not, it's not a single plane. It's dimensional, and that's really rich. There's an aspect of maturing for a client. That seat at the bigger table. Maybe somebody's listening right now, and they're hearing, "Oh, when I was a kid, I sat at the kids' table, and I finally grew up and got to sit at the big table at the adult thing." Well, this is growing up.
Yep.
This is
right.
Getting a coach is choosing a mentor that is going to help you get to levels that you can only dream of. And until you activate with somebody who's gone there, you're spinning in the dream.
Yep.
And I love that. And you don't talk about this a lot, but I know this. You are a man of faith, and you're deeply rooted in family. And so what I love about that is, you can't have the dream without a vision.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is you are the vision in action. Like, this is the dream come to life. I heard it said one time, dreamers sleep.
Right.
Those with vision see, and they move, and they go forward.
Yep.
What is it that gets a lot of people stuck in, progress?
I think when you really study the brain, the brain is there to keep you alive, survival. You've done a lot of work in trauma.
Yeah.
And I never thought about trauma. I obviously had trauma as a kid, a lot of divorce, just seeing things that I shouldn't have seen as a young kid, but I never drew a correlation between when people would come to my coaching, why they were so stuck.
Yeah.
Until I started thinking about the trauma, right? And just like, okay, this person comes and hears me. They look at me as if they're getting it, but something keeps them from doing it, right? Some mental roadblock, some emotional trauma. And then obviously Jana on my team, came on my team and it's kind of enlightened me some she would say, well, now you're teaching expansion, but you're not really dealing with the messy middle.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would be like, okay, that's a valid point. Like, I don't know why they're not going to do what I'm teaching them to do. It works. But the truth is, as I've gotten older, I am starting to see how trauma affects a person from being able to move forward, how they get stuck, how they live in the past, how they make progress and then they go backward, and how they can't see something, and just all the mental aspects. So why do people get stuck? A lot of reasons. I do think there's trauma that keeps them stuck. I do think just maybe a complacency where they've just stayed that way for so long, it's hard to crank that engine. It's like when I called Jeremy Miner one day, I was in Orlando reading a book, and I'm like, why don't people make decisions? And why don't they move forward? And he said to me that day, he's like, well, 80% of people don't believe they can do it.
Yeah.
Like, they come and read your books, they watch you, they'll buy your programs, but deep down, they do not believe they can go do what you're telling them to do.
And they're right.
Yeah.
Because if they are stuck in that belief that they can't do it, they will not be able to do it.
That's right.
Which is why it's so important to have a coach come in and activate.
That's right.
And not just a coach that's doing.
Yeah.
That's the mentorship, the mirroring, and then the modeling. It's like you have empowered in my life. I have seen it. I get it, and I honestly I geek out on the whole brain thing because I'm just all about the study of the brain. But the thing is that narrative has got to be changed. Yeah. And it doesn't just change by showing up to one thing.
That's right.
Or sitting in a virtual session one time. Yeah. Exposure and proximity, and I'm bold. I mean, I've said, hey, I want a seat at that table. Right. So how do I get there and get me there as quickly as I can? That's so, but I feel emboldened. I'm bold anyway, but emboldened because I know that is something that you pour into us. I mean, and it's really, going back to the faith aspect of it is some time at some point in everybody's life, we need called out of us what's really there.
Yeah.
And for the people that get stuck, it's the narrative is what's being listened to, and what gets fed grows. But to hire somebody like you, to have somebody come in and speak to them, and all the things that we can do to partner with you, that's one of those empowering things, and it's a decision. So I want to ask you something, because on Verses of Life, we do talk about a pinnacle crossroads in life for you. Yep. What was one point in your life that without a shadow of doubt, if you did not make a decision in the direction that you did, you wouldn't be sitting here right now?
A couple come to my mind. When I was 18 years old, I went to a coaching clinic with a great coach named Don Meyer, and he said, you got to read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Excellent book.
This was 1994. And he said, while you're at it, pick up a copy of First Things First. Now, he probably told 700 coaches that. How many coaches actually went to the bookstore and did that? This goes back to what you and I were talking about earlier, which was like, some people do a little bit of what the coach says. And some people go, you got an unlimited license to tell me what I need to do, right? I'm coachable.
Yeah.
Well, I was one of those people that went and got that book. And I never read a self-help book. I mean, I was doing things in high school. I had a speaking coach when I was 15. I traveled around the world speaking, even as 15-year-old. And that was advanced training for me. I was going to leadership camps and leadership academies. Why? I don't know. I had a need to do those things. And so I had training on leadership, but I didn't do a lot of reading, self-help reading. And when I read that book, I didn't understand it. It was very complicated to understand it at 18, especially coming from a rural school, right? When I went to college, a lot of people don't know this, but I had remedial courses in college. I finished 8th in my graduating class out of 108 students.
Okay.
And I still had remedial math when I went to college. That's how poorly I scored on tests. So I had remedial math, remedial English. How do you finish in the top 10 of your class as one of the top 10 smartest people in your class? I'm not saying anything negative about my education, but it was behind in some cases.
Okay.
I had a great English teacher. And so it's like when he said that, I go, okay. And I go buy the book. And it just like changed everything for me. It opened my mind. And when I met Covey when I was 25 years old, there's a picture of me meeting Covey in the book Person of Interest. And my mother arranged for me to meet him because I didn't have enough money to pay the VIP ticket. It's $1,000 to have lunch with him. And I just like, man, this is crazy. Like, I don't have $1,000 to have lunch with him. And my mom figured out how to get to his personal assistant. She begged and pleaded his personal assistant to give me just a few minutes with Dr. Covey. She finally relented and said, have your son right here. When we walk out of this room, he's going to meet Dr. Covey, right? And he stepped into a room with me for like 10 minutes and just talked to me. Wow. And it was life-changing.
You didn't even get to eat the chicken. You just got the whole conversation. You got the main course.
I was so nervous and I was sweating and, like, what do you say? And but that just few moments with him. Now, let's go back to the question you asked, which is, that was exposure. Imagine if Dr. Covey said, I want you to really go deep with me for the next year. I want you to be in my trainings. I want you to sit on the front row. That would have accelerated my path. Yeah. So a guy asked me this morning, he's like, what would I get different than watching you on YouTube? Like, he said, I've been watching you on YouTube for years, Instagram, whatever. And I'm like, man, it ain't even close.
No.
There's an experiential part of this, coming to the Greatness Factory, seeing it, observing it, being around. Like, that's as much learning as you learning something, right? You hearing it, like seeing, like, how does he do this? How does he raise $1 million a day? How does he do that?
Yeah.
Like, how did he build a Greatness Factory? Like I used to be in strategic coach, and I would go once a quarter to Chicago, and it was this very well-refined coaching program. But Dan Sullivan only worked 165 days a year, or 100 days a year. He took off 265 days a year. And I was like, how does he do that? I wanted to go to Chicago to see.
Yeah.
I would ask his team members, can you guys call him when he's not here? They're like, no, we can't.
Yeah.
If the building's burning down, do you call him? No, we don't. We call somebody else. Wow. He literally took those days off.
Discipline.
He called them free days. Wasn't he being lazy? He could read. He could travel. And I was like, that's fascinating. Yeah. He's got a $40 million company. He takes off 200 days a year to do whatever he wants to. His team's perfectly okay with it because that's the way it's structured.
Yeah. And that's what it's structure, it's systems, it's discipline. Yeah. Everybody knows their place. Yeah. And, you're talking about a team. Yes. Literally a team. And so for our listeners that are, that are contemplating, I'm either buying the Kool-Aid or I'm not buying the Kool-Aid. Right. What would you say to that individual that's sitting on the fence, YouTube or this? Yep. I mean, I can tell you that I would say if you're sitting on YouTube, here's the problem that you have with that is you can tune out, you can do multitasking, which is absolutely to conquer no task at all, because you're split in your attention span. Yeah. Being in the room is critical because there's that which is verbal, there's that which is visible, there's that is energy. You don't get that energy on the YouTube. Yep. But what would you tell that person is the greatest benefit that you found getting yourself in presence?
Most of it is observational, experiential. There's a value, like we got a guy who's bringing his whole team. He's a car dealer. And he's got car dealerships, and he's bringing like his top 7 people here tomorrow to the Greatness Factory. Awesome. And they're excited. It's like they're going on a journey. They're going to learn something. They're going to sit at a bigger table. He could tell them 100 times, this is what you got to do. right? For me, I have been around really some of the top people in the world, no matter who you watch, right? Milet's, the Cardones, the Grovers, the all of them.
Yeah.
I observe. How do they handle stress? How do they communicate with their team? How do they show up every day, right?
Yeah.
As much of it was just observational learning, like me going down to Miami, seeing how Cardone runs this well-oiled machine with 50 people on the phones and thousands of leads coming in. Wow. Like just watching it, it's like, gosh, that's fascinating. Yeah. What's my version of that? How do they do videos? How do they do marketing? You see where I'm going?
Yes.
So the person that sits over there and says, well, I'm just going to learn under this person on YouTube, we classify that as exposure. Okay. It opens the mind, but it's not going to change your life. Now, the other part of that is called psychological demand.
Yes.
When you pay attention. When you sacrifice, you pay attention. When you get on a plane, when you travel somewhere, when you're committed to something, right?
Yes.
That is you telling yourself, I'm serious. I'm taking myself serious, right?
Yeah.
When I went through the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People training, this is the difference, is I was going to that training to get certified when I was 25 years old. It was 5 days, 8 hours a day with a facilitator. I noticed that some people showed up for that certification who had not even read the book. Their company paid for it. They said, go get certified in these 7 habits. Now, you tell me, they're competing versus me. I've been reading and studying his work for 7 years. I know those habits inside and out, forward and backward. I sat down beside a person who hadn't even read the book. Who do you think's going to win? So at the end of the week, when I get finished, the woman says, we've never had somebody in all our years of training know this material better than you. They tried to hire me. They said, we want you to come work at Franklin Covey. Like you've already interviewed. You've already interviewed. We don't have to interview you. You have a job with us. Yeah. And I go, I can't. I'm a basketball coach. I can't leave. I got a team. But my point is, some people show up with batteries included, and some people show up. And that is the difference between the amateurs and the professionals. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Think of sports. Jordan never showed up 15 minutes before practice. 4 hours before practice. Yeah. So I watch how people show up for work. Do they show up ready to go? Do they show up and mess around for hours? Are they skilled at what they do? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so there really is a difference between amateurs and pros. Okay? I've seen pros here under my tutelage step right over there to the money lab and put together $20 million deals. That's what I've seen from the pros.
And I've watched it. I call it the fishbowl sometimes, just to sit there and look. Yeah. Because you use 2 terms that were intriguing to me. And one was bluegills and one is blue marlins. Yep. And I thought, and we realized there was one day I was like, I wonder if he thinks I'm a bluegill or, I was like, I know what I think I am. Yeah. But I also knew if I'm going to be a blue marlin, I got to swim like a blue marlin. That's right. And I may not be a huge blue marlin, but all blue marlins start swimming in the same ocean, and I've jumped in. That's right. With the marlin tamer.
Yes, that's right.
If you will.
That's right.
I mean, this is something that I want our listeners. I want you to hear, and I want you to know that we're not selling ice cream here. We are giving you good battle-tested wisdom that is sound for you. When you're ready. If you're ready now, the way to get in touch with Coach Burt is how?
CoachBurt.com. Go there, book a strategy call. Best way is book a call. Say, I want a seat at the big table. If you're serious, it's not uncommon for me to call people. It's not uncommon for me to, people were doing strategy calls yesterday that were in the future, and I was calling them, man, on the way into work this morning. I'm calling like, I know you got a strategy call. Why wait till next week to have this call?
Yeah, so that's one way. You're online, you're listening on Spotify, whatever you're listening to, you can connect with him. But the thing is, until you connect to him, you're unplugged. Yeah. And here's the thing is, the end-all source is what is in you. And I'm telling you, it is in you to have a radically different life. So when it comes to whether you're deciding, do I or don't I, do it. Yep. You won't silence the doubt until you take action. And I can just tell you that Coach Burt, he's going to hold your feet to the fire, and you're going to celebrate with it. But the best part about it is the culture that this greatness factory is really producing. It calls out
Right.
what is within people. And that's what I really love. I came to you for a program called Package Your Purpose.
Yes.
And it's getting really clear.
Yeah.
It's getting ready to launch as a rebrand. So
love it.
To the point of your books, the person of interest.
Yeah.
Get online, find the event, sign up for it, get that strategy call done, but show up. Show up for you, because there's somebody waiting. When the student's ready, the teacher will come.
Yeah.
And,
100%.
you're here.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we're here because we are a community.
Yes.
And, the thing about it is greatness doesn't come out unless it gets out.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
get out of your comfort zone, because you've contracted into that,
Yep.
and launch into what is great within you.
I love it.
So thank you, Coach, for being with
Love
us.
it. My pleasure.
Y'all come back and listen to another Verses of Life.